Everyone's moved.
I mean, Amy, would you like us to leave and come back in?
No, that's going to just cause way more issues, isn't it?
The only thing that remains constant in life is that everything changes.
Yeah, don't have to like it though.
Damn right.
But even if something stays the same, that's a change of sorts. Everything else has changed around it, so it's...
Well, nothing stays the same except the fact that everything changes. That's the point. There is no staying the same. It would be impossible for something to stay the same. Except the fact that everything changes. That's what I love. It's a philosophical paradox.
Yes, it's one of those really annoying philosophical paradoxes that I just generally fucking hate.
I will have to make a point of thinking up some others then.
I mean, use them as you wish. Like I'm not your dad's Jew.
That would definitely take some doing. And the fact you are substantially younger than me, like you're 20 years younger than me, aren't you? Or something.
That's it. Well, time. I mean, we've been talking about paradoxes. This could be a time machine paradox. There you go. Conceived. Yeah, you were born of a hilarious accident involving a time machine and a contraceptive. And if anybody gets that reference,
I know it instantly. Shall I say it?
Yeah, if you want, go for it.
Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Zaphod Beeblebrox, that is it. What a character.
Because he is Zaphod Beeblebrox the Nothingth.
Yes, he is.
Ancestor called him.
That's it. That's it. And his dad was Zaphod Beeblebrox the first, and his grandfather was Zaphod Beeblebrox the second.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. That's from the radio series, wasn't it?
We are recording. It's in the book as well. It's not just the radio series. It is actually in the book.
I'll have to revisit that one.
Yeah.
Is the radio series the one that springs to mind? But yeah.
That's fair enough. I'll be honest. I've never actually listened to the Hitchhiker's radio series. I've only ever read the books or seen the various film media. Never the radio show.
Oh, well worth it. Well worth it. It's different again, as these things have a tendency to be. But have a good listen to them. Make you a hoopy frood.
It was done well, and it was done well on telly in the early 80s, wasn't it? I thought it was done very well.
Yep. There's been a stage version as well.
Has there? I must have missed that entirely.
I've been desperately trying to get hold of a copy of the script because I'd love to produce it, but I can't get a copy of the script for love nor money. I've searched everywhere.
So we'll have to hunt down all the cast who are in it, and then just stalk them menacingly until they give us their copies of their scripts.
Yes.
So can't Samuel French offer any kind of assistance with that, or do they just tell you what you can perform, what you can't, and what you can't perform, or what you can, and how much it will cost you?
It's not in their library.
Wow.
I mean, it's quite possible that it was never published as a play. Whatever script they were using was devised or whatever they were doing.
It wasn't. That's the problem, and why it's really difficult to get hold of a copy.
Fair enough.
Never formally published.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of things that have never been formally published, welcome back, listeners, to Tales from the 20 Side, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Let's Play podcast. My name is Dom, and I'm your GM for this game and for many others. And I'm joined by Stu, who has given me a very sideways look.
Who publishes formally this on a weekly basis. Hello.
I'm joined by Neil.
Yo, hello.
And I'm joined by Amy.
I thought that was a really smooth segue, so I think you should be proud of yourself.
I'm very proud of myself. I get the sense that Stu disagrees, but no, I thought that was pretty smooth, pretty sharp for once.
Lies! It was all lies. Secrets and lies.
Once again, as you all have no doubt noticed, we are sadly without Darren tonight. He is still Still got some things going on. So once again, we wish him all the best, and we hope to have him back rolling dice with us very, very soon. All the best, buddy.
We missed you, Durham.
But yeah, so I've just realised I've completely killed off the conversation flow we had. So whilst I think of something else to say, I'm going to have a little sip of my incredibly cold caramel rum.
Do you know what I did last night?
I say rum. It's more of like a rum liqueur type thing.
But never mind that. What did you do last night, Amy?
It's not that exciting, but it's the most exciting thing that happened to me this weekend. So, in my house, on one of my windows, it's got like this little glass thing that you sort of move up and down. It's, I think, to block extra noise. What I did last night was when I pushed it up, I got my hand trapped in between the two glass things, and I could not get it out. It was very painful, and that's what happened to me last night.
So, were you eventually rescued, or did you
smash
it?
We tried. We had to pull it out, but it was it got stuck and it didn't come out very easily. I was like panicky.
What the listeners can't see is that Amy has actually had to rearrange her recording space so the camera is pointing at her window, and she's actually sat there with her hand stuck in the window still.
I'm over here, guys. Yeah.
Is it internal double glazing?
I don't know what it is because we've only got it on the one, and it's in the one that's nearer the main road, so I'm assuming it's there for soundproofing. Okay. But yeah, it's weird. I thought it might be there to like stop you falling out, but I mean you've got a window there.
That's what Windows itself is for.
So.
I was slightly alarmed. I realised it's just a perspective thing, but there's a mirror right behind you, and your reflection isn't in it. But I've just,
and she's got a widow's peak.
Amy exposed as a vampire.
Is that what a widow's peak is? Like a Bela Lugosi?
Pointy bit at the top, yeah.
Pointy bit at the top. Okay. That's a widow's peak.
Makes fringes a pain.
Yeah, so I've got a tiny widow's peak. Just there. You can't quite see it, but it is there.
I used to have one.
Yeah.
I think. I don't remember. So, caramel flavoured rum.
Yes.
It's quite nice. This was a gift from my parents from the last time they went to Spain. They got this from Tenerife or Gran Canaria or somewhere. It's really, really tasty. It comes in this sort of red and gold coloured metal bottle. And when you put it in the freezer, it basically turns into a rum slushy, which is great. So I've had a little glass of that before we started because it is really, really warm in Oxfordshire today.
It is in Buckinghamshire.
Drinking ice cold rum to stay cool.
That's it. Why not?
No ice lollies for you.
Yeah,
don't just have a little drink. Have a big drink, and then we can mutiny and take over the podcast.
No, you don't want to try that on when Don's had a few drinks inside him.
I mean, we've all seen what happens when we get horrifically drunk and try to record a podcast, folks.
I haven't.
You were present. You were well when I
got. Yes, I remember now.
I didn't notice anything untoward.
No, but you're used to me now.
Yeah, but when you said I was sorry for my behaviour, I thought, really? What behaviour is that?
I still think the most heinous crime we committed on that stream was the attempt to sing Happy Birthday with 6 people across differing time zones, and it was just the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
You mean the best thing you've ever done in your life?
Yeah, I say the worst. There is like a / best there as well,
and not counting the murders, of course.
No, we don't talk about the murders.
Well, to correct it, because I think you're absolutely right. Trying to do that with 6 people is really wrong. There's only 4 of us, so let's have a go. No. Let's not.
So if we're going to do that, we've missed the podcast birthday by a good couple of months, Stu, unfortunately.
We have.
I don't know who we'd be singing it for. Would we be singing it for whose birthday is nearest at the moment?
Not mine.
Neil's, I would suspect.
End of August.
Yeah.
Or could have been for me back in May.
Yeah.
Actually, that'd be closer. Yeah.
No. I think we're about midway. Midway, to be fair. I don't know. That is irrelevant and not interesting. How is everyone doing?
That's not a very nice thing to say about Neil's birthday. Of course it is.
I'm going to say it depends who you're talking about. Published date when the episode is published, because then it will be closer to Neil's.
We'll go with published. That's what the people listening to this are going to hear.
Because it gets published. Anyway,
I think I've struck a nerve tonight, folks.
Are we going to call this one published?
Not yet. Well, not for a couple of weeks yet.
There we go. If you look very very carefully in the back of Stu's background, you can just see there's quite a large pile of salt that's just sat there.
There's a Chardonnay.
Yeah.
There is a Chardonnay. That's it.
Chardonnay behind me. Yeah.
Go. Yeah.
Chardonnay's real.
Speaking of Chardonnay, what situation have you guys found yourselves in? Let's have a quick little recap as to what's going on.
Well, I last wrote Deeper Underground.
We going deeper underground. Let's all sing that together.
With the creepers who you've all decided you trust.
Yes.
The
Caligni.
The Chuds.
The Chuds. Yes, the Caligni. So it's some Caligni creepers being led by a Caligni stalker. Am I remembering that correctly?
You are. Group of these kind of diminutive Caligni creepers, led by a stalker who has introduced themselves as Catan to you.
Catan, that's right.
Stalker Catan.
And we've asked them to help us find a way out. Well, they helped us see off, not defeat, but see off the bar guest. That was about to TPK us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Red Raven. What was that?
Red Raven, isn't that their leader?
Yeah, wasn't that who we were going to go see?
Yes.
The lady.
And what was the symbol of Pharasma?
Oh, the symbol of Pharasma. What is Pharasma? I can't remember what Pharasma's symbol is now. Off the top of my head.
Pharasma's symbol is a blue swirl.
Like an ice cream.
Like an ice cream, yeah.
Like a crop circle.
Yeah, sometimes when she's feeling fabulous, it's a raspberry swirl instead.
Right. But yes, the Stalker Catan was definitely... and the Creepers, they were Pharasma worshippers, weren't they?
I mean, you don't really know about the creepers. You've certainly not taken any time to talk with them, but certainly from their behaviour, they seem to be very much following whatever the stalker tells them to do. They may well be worshippers of Pharasma, but you haven't asked Catan, and you haven't spoken to them directly.
Right, but Catan is definitely. I've definitely got this right. I've definitely got this somewhere. Somebody somewhere is a Pharasma worshipper.
Yes, it was. I will help you out a bit, Stu, because this has literally just happened to your characters. Stalker Catan was the one wielding the symbol of Pharasma, shot these crackling beams of divine light at the bar guest to drive it off.
That's it. So yes. So, yeah, I was just assuming they're all Pharasma worshippers. Because why wouldn't they be?
Well... We don't want to think about that.
You heard it here, folks. Generalisation is okay with Alwyn Templeton.
He's not the smartest tool in the box.
So these creepers don't represent a multicultural society.
They might.
They might though?
They might. We don't know. Alwyn certainly doesn't know. Alwyn knows shit.
I mean, it's just we run across all these monocultures.
Oh, shit. Talk amongst yourselves for 1 minute, folks. I need to grab my water bottle.
Okay. And the other thing that's happened, we've been introduced to this Red Raven. Yes, this leader dressed in red leather with the long bow and a sword.
I wrote that down. I wondered if that was stuff we got.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget each of our respective gods. So in Otto's and Alwyn's case, that's Cade and Kalian. I don't know which god Della worships.
Neither does
Della knows either.
Okay. Well, maybe this might not apply to Della then, but our respective gods have given us immortality and invulnerability.
Since when?
Since the time when Dom walked away from the microphone.
I don't think that counts.
Because
surely it's only Dom that can grant that.
Death is never more than a dice roll away.
Well, I don't know. I think because I do the editing, haven't I got more godlike powers than Dom?
Ooh, but Dom creates your content, so you can only do so much with that.
What's that thing where you piece together a sentence from like various words that have been spoken by someone? There's a name for that, isn't there?
Yeah, when you piece together a sentence.
I can easily make that happen with previous episodes, I'm sure.
Yeah. So why are we still here?
Dom, just say the words immortal and invulnerable.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm gonna. Okay. Let me see how this goes. Mortal, vulnerable.
Oh, I can easily add in im. So that's not a problem.
It's going to sound pretty obvious, though.
I've got something else. I've got something else to say. That, Stu. TPK.
Yeah. So I'm talking about like how you construct sentences by like taking various other sentences apart and adding words in. So yes, I can make that. There is no chance of a TPK. Thank you.
Well, the only person you're cheating is yourself, Stu.
I know.
We will all know the truth.
I wouldn't do that. I was talking about my godlike powers of editing. See,
they are pretty godlike.
Let's talk about something when you weren't there.
No. I'm glad you did, because otherwise that would have just been like a minute and a half of silence whilst I went and got some water.
I could have easily edited it. Yeah. I still might edit all this out.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean, you say that, Stu. I think we all know that you won't. You like to leave things
wrong.
in.
I'm not wrong.
You have form for leaving things in that you say you're going to take out.
I do indeed. Yes.
But there we go. Right, I think that is quite enough rambling, folks. We've been doing a fair bit of it there. So shall we jump back into the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Walk slowly and carefully back into the game.
Come in quietly. Don't touch anything. Don't look him in the eye. Just let the game start and go on around us. All right. So, moving ourselves back into the game. You've all been led into this underground enclave, and so what I think I mentioned just at the end of last session is that you've been kind of led through a small underground tunnel that kind of went down and back up again, seeming. And as you come out kind of back to the quote unquote surface. You look behind you, and you can see that there is a curtain of stone, sort of about maybe 30-40 feet behind you, which looks not too dissimilar to. Basically, it looks like you're on the other side of the wall that you'd seen before you fought the Barghest. And as you kind of look deeper out into this next part of the city, you see a few things. You see a few small, very, very dim campfires, or almost. They seem to be being used primarily for warmth rather than light. Around which you can see more of these dark hooded creatures.
That's the rum talking there.
That is the rum talking. It's great. Yeah. And I don't care.
That's also the rum talking.
That's it. Anarchy in the podcast. No. But yeah, and you can see that ahead of you, there is what looks to be a giant wall of ice, perhaps 500 feet ahead of you, that stretches most of the way across your vision and seems to curve around almost as if it's in like a circular fashion. Looking around this space as you enter, you see more of these small figures around, as mentioned, small campfires, and kind of just off in the distance, you can see this wall of ice has like a cleft or a split into it, which seems to have a passageway leading into the ice itself, and you can just make out a single figure stood at the mouth of this small ravine. They appear to be dressed in red leathers or something. Their face is obscured by a mask, and they have a white bow slung over their shoulders. So at that point, folks, I will now pass over to you. What would you all like to do?
Hello! You must be Red Raven.
So what I will say, Alwyn, you're still a good few hundred feet away. Stalker Catan has just led you into this space. You're not quite there yet. But if you would like to approach this person, you may do so.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think she heard you.
Hang on, I'll get closer. I'll go up closer, waving as I do so.
So as you call out the first time, Alwyn, you see a few of these figures from around the campfires. They startle as they do so. You see them all spring to their feet. A few of them vanish into the shadows, and the ones that you can still see, you see their hands jump to weapons on their belts. But as they do so, you see Stalker Catan raises a hand and speaks. Be calm, brothers and sisters. They're with me. And you see they all relax and go back to what they were doing previously. And yeah, you begin to approach this kind of this icy passageway ahead of you. And as you're approaching, Alwyn, leading the rest of the group with you, you can see on the left-hand side, you can see that there is an area that has been cleared of rubble, and you can see that there are a number of small, vaguely humanoid shapes that are currently completely covered with cloths. As you're walking past,
are they lying down or standing up?
They are lying. They are lying on the ground, completely covered by these sort of dark shrouds, almost.
Oh, I think a more somber tone as we pass is appropriate.
Unless we want to join them.
Let's be polite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So as you spot this and you kind of quiet into yourselves, Stalker Catan is still kind of loosely leading you. They're kind of stood by your side, keeping pace with you all. And as you progress into this little section of the city itself, you can see that there are more of these strange, gaunt, pale-skinned humanoids all around you. Some of them seem to be sharpening blades. Some of them are skinning animals or cooking small meals to pass around, that kind of thing. And still more seem to be sort of training or practicing for something. You can see a few. You see two You see two individuals who look to be sort of flicking small bolts of magic at what perhaps practice dummies or that kind of thing. And as you progress a bit further, kind of into the main square, you can see ahead of you that there is a training ring that has been kind of drawn out with ropes, in which you can see there is a blindfolded Caligni, a young girl, perhaps in kind of human terms, no older than perhaps 7 or 8 years old. You see she wears a blindfold. She wields a long staff in both her hands and is fending off sort of clearly sparring maneuvers from 6 other quite tall Caligni who are armed with various weapons. She sort of spins and twirls, almost deflecting their attacks and sensing them before they even get close to landing on her. But just as you arrive, one of these attacks sneaks past her defences and clocks her under the jaw as she is sent sprawling. She sort of coughs and gets to her feet, and you see one of these other Caligni, who perhaps is an instructor of some sorts, commands her perhaps to get up. He speaks in this strange tongue that you don't understand. You see this young girl. She looks at the floor for a second, spits on the ground, then springs back to her feet and begins sparring once more. And beyond that, you can see a set of steps leading up to this icy passageway.
The force is strong with that one.
She should have ducked, though.
Yes. Catan kind of chimes in as you say this and says, yes, that is Mara. She is destined to become a vanguard of our enclave, a highly respected position. We train because of her gifts. We train her from birth.
Gifts?
Yes. She is born. She was born without eyes because she does not need them to see. Many of the old traditions have died out, but that is one that survives.
That's pretty cool.
Obviously a fierce warrior.
In time she will be. Perhaps one day she will even succeed me as leader of this enclave, but for now, she trains.
So, Catan, before we get to this Red, so if you're the leader of the enclave, who, if you don't mind me asking, is Red Raven to you?
She is an emissary of the Lady of Graves, a guardian sent here to protect, to keep the prince caged in his icy prison.
A prince?
Yes, it's not really relevant to anything you Brightwalkers need to know, but this icy wall here, it forms a prison for a powerful being of elemental air, a genie who slaughtered his kin and was tried for murder and imprisoned here on the material plane. The Red Raven is Pharasma's guardian, sent here to keep him to ensure he never escapes.
Right. Well,
the Raven themselves changes every century or so, but the most recent one has only been here perhaps a few of your years.
Well, yes, I suppose an immortal being would be sort of an anathema to Pharasma, wouldn't they?
Yes. Well, immortality itself is not an affront to the Lady of Graves. There are legitimate means of acquiring it that do not violate the sacred order. Your Caden Kalian is one. He kind of glances at your holy symbol.
Oh, yes.
In fact,
him. Nice chap.
I'm sure. Did you have any further questions before you meet the Red Raven?
No.
One. So, are you intending to help us back to the surface?
I mean, if by help you mean we shan't... We certainly don't intend to keep you here, Brightwalker. This is not your world, and if I'm completely honest, you're not entirely welcome down here. It's better you get back to where you came from.
Yes, I can see that. I can understand
I can see we are of the same mind. We are going to get along just fine until we go, which will be soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think before you do go, though, as I say, I'm keen to get you to talk with the Red Raven. I believe she may have something of an offer for you, or perhaps a request.
Well, yes.
I'm always willing to talk to new people.
We can help.
Right. So just as you're saying this, Alwyn, you're sort of talking to Catan, and you suddenly feel a tiny little hand tugging on your rapier, and you look down and you see that one of these creepers has their hand on the hilt of a sword and is attempting to draw it free. And as you look around, you see that there are perhaps 10 of these creepers that have made their way out of the darkness, and they have all sorts of things from your collective inventories in their hands. And they sort of look at, as you sort of spot this little hand and you turn round, they all freeze. And Catan sort of flinches as you do so, looks at what you're looking at, lets out an exasperated sigh, and says, "Creepers, be nice to the Bright Walkers. Give them their things back." And you see these creepers sort of silently shuffle forwards and start pressing all manner of things that you recognise as yours back into your hands.
Okay, I am
pretty shocked at that, to be honest. That someone managed to pilfer some things off me.
Mischievous little scamps, aren't they?
Yes, they certainly are. They've yet to learn their place in the world. Bless them. It's not their fault.
Do you know what? They're obviously honing fine skills if they can get things away from Della here.
Yes. Well, regardless, I apologise for that. I should have been more vigilant as to what they're doing. They can get out of hand very quickly, these little blighters.
Well, I'm impressed.
No harm, no foul. Definitely going to keep a closer hand on my things, but yeah,
I'm aware now.
That's it. All right. Is there anything else you wish to ask, or shall I introduce you to the Red Raven?
Anything we shouldn't say?
I mean, be as polite as you would to any other, I suppose. They are not of our lineage, you might say. They are something else. But yes, if you're worried about offending them, I assure you they are a very old, very powerful being. They are likely not offended lightly. But to be polite,
they haven't met us yet. So.
Challenge accepted. No.
I mean, really, the only way you might rouse her anger is if you were to perform any deeds anathema to Pharasma. For example, if you were to start, I don't know, raising the undead in her presence, that might not go well for you.
Oh, well, I don't know how to do that, so that's fine.
No. But I know that is generally considered quite rude.
Yes. No, there's no danger with that.
Right. Shall we?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Let's go over there.
All right. So you
Brother Amos is nodding as well.
You don't get to decide what he does, but in this case he is nodding. All right.
Well, it looked to me like he was nodding. I didn't decide he was doing it. I decided that's what I thought he was doing.
So with that out of the way, Catan begins to lead you up these carved icy steps towards this passageway ahead of you, and you can see now this figure dressed in red leathers. They're quite tall. Perhaps it's the boots they're wearing, giving them a bit more stature than more of an imposing statue. But yeah, they're definitely sort of 6, maybe 6'1" tall. And as you step up the steps, can see they are stood stoically. Their bow is stowed on their back, and their hands are clasped in front of them. As you get closer, you can see that the armor itself appears to be made of perhaps some kind of dragon hide or drake hide or that kind of thing. It's definitely not a standard looking leather. It has this kind of pattern embossed across it that kind of spreads all the way over it. The edges of the sleeves and the skirt are sort of taper into these long crimson red feathers. The mask itself that they're wearing is a long. It is a full face mask of crimson that bends forward in a stylized beak, not dissimilar to that of a plague that of a plague mask. You can see they wear a tattered red cape on their back that seems to glint with golden light as it catches the soft light from elsewhere. And as you approach, you can see that the top half of their face is mostly exposed. You can at least see their eyes, and you can see that from what you can see of their skin is a pale blue color. I don't know how to describe it. Imagine imagine Parma violets. It's that kind of soft bluey purple color.
Yeah, I was going to say Parma violets is purple. What about like duck egg blue?
It's more like a duck egg blue. Thank you, Amy. That's what I'm after.
Parma violets are violet.
They are. I'll tell you why I say Parma violets. I'm pretty sure they used to be like a blue version of Parma violets years and years ago. I might be going mad.
I mean, you can get like refreshers that kind of look the same. They're in that like disc when you get the mini bags.
Maybe I'm thinking of that. Maybe I'm thinking of that.
Sweets exist.
Or maybe when they're old, they go more sort of blue. They fade to a kind of blue colour. You just had some very old sweets.
Or maybe they went through a stage when like people were getting funny about red food dye or something.
Maybe.
Blue
Maybe.
and purple.
Maybe you were looking at them in odd lighting.
Perhaps.
Getting very distracted from the game here.
All of these things are very possible, but they're not relevant to Galarian.
Yeah. Possibly one of those taverns where in the toilets they shine that strange blue light so that you can't find a vein.
I don't want to know.
One of those the curtain of ice that's in front of us.
Yes.
Right. In addition to their duck egg blue skin, you see that their eyes are kind of just a soft green colour as they sparkle in the light.
Now, is that forest green or an emerald green?
It is a let's get on with the game green.
I know, so.
So as you approach, Catan sort of says he sort of speaks up and says, Lady Raven, these are the Bright Walkers that we noticed moving around outside. I think they wish to speak with you. And this figure sort of looks over all of you as Catan says this, and they say, and when they speak, it's this kind of voice it sounds almost modulated. Imagine like there's as they speak, the voice is clearly feminine in origin, but it's distorted. It sounds almost like there are perhaps 12 different voices speaking at once. Some of them soft, some of them bold, some of them sort of deeply beautiful with a hint of menace. Imagine Galadriel when Frodo offers her the One Ring in Fellowship. That kind of thing.
I'm picturing Cher.
Yeah, or Cher. That's it. Now, obviously, I can't do that kind of voice. But please just imagine that as your as she's as they're speaking.
Cher.
Yeah, why not? I've got the hair for it.
Wonderful.
There we go. And they look at you and they say, "Do you believe in life?" No, they don't.
Yes. Thank you for doing that.
They look at you and they say in this sort of deeply, almost modulated voice,
Welcome, Bright Walkers. It's good to have you with us.
It's nice to be here.
Hello. I mean, yes, we'll be glad to get out of here where we clearly don't belong, but yes, very nice to meet you. We're told we can be of some assistance, maybe?
Potentially, yes. However, before we go any further, I wish to stress that you are not held here under duress. What I am about to ask of you is a request, and nothing more than a request. If you would prefer simply to get back to the surface and get on with your lives, you are welcome to do so. However, the beast that stalks the Undercity, by the looks of you, you've certainly come into contact with.
Yes, the bargain.
So that fucking thing.
Yes, it is one of the prince's pets, the same prince that Pharasma keeps imprisoned here. It escaped a short while ago when some careless folk from the surface broke through a section of the vernal prison. It slaughtered them. There's nothing I could do to protect them. And since then, that beast has been terrorizing the Undercity. It riles up the undead that walk these halls, sending them towards the surface. And also, it attacks my children.
And she gestures in the direction of the kind of sort of makeshift morgue that you'd passed on the way in.
Now, as you have doubtless already seen, this is a powerful beast. Likely one beyond your ability to slay, but if it could be lured back to its prison, I have the ability to seal it away once more, so it can do no more harm.
So you need us for bait.
That's a gross oversimplification, but I suppose it's correct, yes.
I see.
As I say, if you're willing, if you would prefer to get on with your lives, I can, of course, have my children show you the nearest way back to the surface.
That suits. That would be my preference.
I have a... I'm willing to help if I can. Otto, do you know what? I hear you on that. It's not our fight. But I think, I in myself, I feel need to help. I would request it. I mean, you'll see we've got a number of friends here who are... I wouldn't want to see them put in harm's way, so perhaps some of our comrades can take them to the surface first?
Of course, that is something that could be arranged. I see these individuals of which you speak, and meaning no disrespect, it is clear that they would be a liability in any efforts to trap this beast.
Indeed. So maybe, Amos, perhaps you might, take them to the surface and look after them. Otto, did you want to go with them as well then?
I was just thinking, actually, they would make quite good bait.
No, we're not using them as bait. No, I'm going to put my foot down there.
Well, I was helped by a follower of Pharasma before, so I feel that it would be a good idea for me to help. So I'm happy to stay.
But, last time we encountered this thing, these little creepers seemed to handle it far better than we did.
Well, they drove it away.
Yes.
But we're not looking to drive it away. We're looking to lure it, and maybe the bar guest might see them and just run away, whereas it might see us as perhaps easy pickings and oh look, there's a chance for some tasty snack, and chase after us, and then we lead it into wherever it is we're supposed to be leading it to.
Yeah, we'll come up with a plan. It would depend on where we would need to lead it to.
I thought that was the plan, but okay.
No, it depends on where it is. Where do we need to send it to?
Right. I'm glad you're staying, Della. You're clearly the brains of the operation.
Oh no.
Well, while you're thinking about that, Otto, Christian, what would you like to do?
Well, we had a deal, right?
We did.
You were going to get me back to these heralds.
Yes.
They were gonna. I'll tell them what I know, which, as I said before, isn't much. But if it gets me my safety and my freedom, I will trade whatever information they want me to trade. I think maybe it's best if you're sending Amos back up to the surface with these folk, and he gestures to the individuals you've been escorting. Perhaps it's best. You saw what that thing did to me just now. I mean, look at my armor, and you look at his armor, and his breastplate has been just destroyed. You get the sense he's only still wearing it because he hasn't really had a chance to take it off yet. And he sort of continues to say, perhaps it'd be best if I went up with Amos. I can maybe still. I don't know how Igorins responded to us busting out of the bone grinder, but I might be able to use. I might still have some pull as Winter Guard, if you know what I'm saying. I might be able to get the group through some checkpoints, that kind of thing.
Oh well, yes, that sounds like a good idea. Yes, Mary, will you want to stay with your sister to the surface, or stay with us?
I'm conflicted. Look, I've seen what all of you can do, and I'll be honest. I trust you all to look after my sister. And I'm potentially I could stay down here and help you out. However, you saw just now my flail, my mace, even with my magic, was bouncing off that thing's hide. I don't know what good to you I'd be. Perhaps just another liability. But if you want my help, I'd say you've earned it.
I could understand you wanting to stay with your sister, and then, I mean, I don't know what you think, Della, but I think maybe Mary might be better off helping to protect all these innocent souls.
I don't think more of us is going to make much of a difference if we're just trying to flush it somewhere.
Yes. In fact, the more numerous we are, the more difficult it might become.
Yeah.
I like the sound of this more and more.
I'm thinking of what we do. So.
Well, I think Maori's better off staying with his sister and Christian.
Yeah.
And well, that's if Amos, are you all right taking the others up to the surface, looking after them?
I can do that. I still know where. I still remember where the heralds were holed up. I can help Christian and Maori get us to where we need to go.
That's good. Do you remember the password?
The rose that blooms in.
Yeah, that's the one. That's not.
All right, yes. I got it. Okay, I've got it.
Right, Otto.
Yes, all right.
Yes, all right. What do you wish to do?
What is the plan? Do we have a plan? I'll help you make a plan.
Yeah, where do we need to get this Bargus to then, Lady Raven?
I'll show you. Please follow me.
Okay.
and she steps away from this icy passageway, and you can see as she steps away, this icy tunnel literally leads deeper into it. Almost looks like a giant glacier just in the center of the chamber here, with like a tunnel that leads inside it, and that tunnel disappears away into darkness. But she steps towards the rest of you, sort of stepping down the stairs as she does so, and she begins to lead you all, assuming you're following, she begins to lead you all around the outside of this pillar of ice.
Yeah, follow.
Okay. As long as it looks safe at the moment.
Looks reasonably safe. I mean, you certainly don't see any danger approaching you. You sort of, as you look around, Della, you do occasionally catch just a flit of a shadow of one of these creepers darting from darting through the gloom around you. You hear the occasional their occasional giggle as they do so. But yes, the Red Raven, Lady Raven, leads you around the outside of this icy pillar, and after just a couple of minutes of walking, you find yourselves almost coming 180 degrees around this pillar, and this is a thick pillar of ice. Like, it looks like it's a good perhaps 500 feet in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
She leads you around the outside in a clockwise direction, and as you get sort of about halfway around, you come to a section of the ice that appears to have been broken open from the outside. You can see scattered around this area. You can see broken mining equipment, sort of pickaxes, shovels, all that kind of thing, all looking fairly recent, fairly pristine. And as you look around the area, you can make out quite hefty bloodstains, sort of spattered all over the floor and the rubble here. Not super fresh, like it's definitely not still wet, but certainly is a recent addition rather than something that happened, centuries ago. The Raven sort of says to you,
"Yes, this is the place where those fools of the Summer's Return attempted to break through the ice. I didn't know what they were doing. I warned them to stop. They didn't heed warning, and as the ice weakened, that thing burst its way free and slaughtered them."
You still want to go after this thing, do you?
Well, we don't want to go after it, but we just need to bring it back here.
This would be the easiest place if we can get it back inside the Vernal prison. I can use Pharasma's magics to reseal it around it.
What do Barghest like then?
Eating people.
Yeah, people. Is it just people? Do we not get like a nice meat pie? Or...
Cook it a nice steak tartare, see what happens.
I don't know much about Barghests. This seems difficult though.
I've already done a knowledge check. I mean, that was to work out that it was a Barghest. Can I take another one to see what I know about Barghests? Or
I mean, I could, because I don't know
that
anything,
might be
but Della might.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So I'll tell you what. Again, because this is meant to be a secret roll. So Della, you would like to make a roll?
Yeah, because I don't know anything, but Della might.
It's fine. I'll make one for you as well, just to see, if there's anything else you know. What are your respective religion modifiers? And Otto's as well, if he wants to make one.
I'll make one. Religion. +2.
+2. +2 for Della and for Alwyn.
+13.
+13. Okay. Okay. So Otto and Della, you know nothing more than what you've already been told by Alwyn. Alwyn, yeah, sort of thinking more about what you know about these creatures. You know that they don't have a particular thing they like to eat. Generally speaking, and certainly in goblin sort of culture and mythology, they are often used as an analogy for just general gluttony. They like to just eat really whatever they can get their hands on, including other bar guests if more than one ends up in an area. They are not above cannibalism.
I just thought of a really horrible idea.
Oh, do share. We like horrible ideas.
So they like lots of things. So and we passed a lot of dead bodies on our way up here.
Do they like their bodies live or dead? Better it eats a dead body than a live one.
If you are suggesting using the slain corpses of my children that monster has already slain, that is out of the question.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I wasn't expecting it not to be whatsoever. It was just a horrible idea.
Well, we have to consider all possibilities, don't we?
I've had a thought. If it's quite gluttonous, it obviously likes to eat a lot of things. Otto, I've seen you produce swarms of things. Well, maybe you could produce a swarm that it chases after. Thinking, I'll eat that swarm, and then I'm eating a lot.
A swarm of biting insects.
Well, it wouldn't have to be biting insects, would it? Just.
Well,
I'm assuming you have some degree of control over what it is.
I don't think I do. Let me see.
Do we have anything that creates a beam of red light?
A beam of red light?
Yeah, we'll just point it towards the thing.
I've just got what Amy's going for.
I think it's a cat.
It might.
Oh yes, I can change the appearance of the creatures.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Can you make it look like a lot of little people?
Very little people.
I can change the appearance of the creatures, but it's typically a mix of centipedes, roaches, wasps, and worms.
What's this? Is this vomit swarm by any chance?
Yes.
So they've got to be small enough to come out your mouth.
Well, that sounds. I mean, sounds disgusting, but sounds about right. And that way it'll think, oh yes, lots of things to eat.
Do you know what? I feel like we have previously established that Otto can make this look like a swarm of tiny Ottos.
Yes.
That way we did.
It's kind of.
It's a pity I broke my wand of mirror image that time when things were going badly.
Would the what are they called?
I can summon a fae.
What's the name of the people that are here? With the C?
Caligni.
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 Caligni. Right.
Caligula.
Are they willing to help us? Or is it a case that you're asking us to do on our own?
I'm not asking you to do anything on your own.
Okay.
My children can assist you, but as you've seen on the way in, they are no match in a stand-up fight of this thing. We've survived so far on ambush tactics. We've been able to. I've noticed that Sorry, we know that it seems to fear the magic of the Lady of Graves. That seems to be enough to drive it away. Each time we fought it, but only ever when we get the drop on it. If it manages to ambush us, well, you saw the result in that clearing back there.
I don't think we should be putting them at risk.
No, but they are quite competent, so I was wondering if we could use...
I don't think this is a risk-free enterprise for anyone.
No. I just wondering, so if it's not happy with this magic, well, I'm struggling to see how I could work it out. Is this place surrounded by falling down buildings still?
Yes. What I will say is it kind of in this section of the city, like everything seems to be much more level. Like the buildings are less sort of ruined buildings, and they're more just piles of rubble. There's a couple. There are. I say that there are still some sort of semi-intact buildings around, but nowhere near as many as there were in the previous section.
Cool.
And the Raven speaks up once again, and she says,
"Yes, if you wish the support of my children, we can find a way to aid you. This, after all, if this problem isn't dealt with, it's likely going to kill all of them. We're happy to help. It's just it's not something we can do on our own."
I think I have been through too much today to come up with an idea. Can I go to sleep somewhere?
I have an idea. A very, very simple plan. That what we need is someone luring the bar guest towards where we want it, and I will get around behind the bar guest and release a crashing wave to smash it into its back into its hole. But whoever's luring it obviously better get out the way fast.
Oh, to push it.
Yes.
That's an interesting thought. Perhaps that would certainly solve the problem of getting it inside the vernal prison. What I should say is that I should have led with this. I apologise. If you enter the vernal prison, you will not be able to leave it.
Oh, well, that's important information that we should know.
What we need is something to lure it towards the vernal prison. A few dead bodies, perhaps, and then I'll get up behind it and throw a crashing wave.
Or living bodies.
You are not using the corpses of my children as bait.
And you can see her hand has leapt to her bow.
No, we established that would not be a thing, and it was said.
We'll use some of your living children then.
No.
We need someone to.
No.
If they fall in battle, that is a risk they are willing to accept. It is a natural order of things. But you will not have the corpses of the slain for this creature to defile.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
No, whatever. We just need someone to lure it towards the vernal prison, and then I can give it a shove from behind.
If you're sort of hiding in behind, ready to shove it, there's three of us that can lure it into place.
Yeah.
It's me, Della, and Chardonnay.
We've got to get it here.
As you're having this conversation, you can see the Red Raven is still has her hand on her bow and is giving Otto a very hard look as she seems to look almost directly through you, Otto. But a second later, you see her gaze snaps away from Otto as you hear a crash somewhere behind you, and you look over and you see a section of the rubble has collapsed, and over the collapsed section, you can see pouring over it numerous tall, gangly humanoid creatures with grey skin, sharp claws, and slavering tongues whipping out of their mouths. And that is where we end for tonight.
Oh,
jeez. Well, at least it isn't a bar ghost. Oh, I need to sleep.
Tales from the 20 Side is a Figo Films production in association with Juicy Falls. Music by Nazar Ryback from hooksounds.com, editing by Stu Jackson. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram by searching Tales from the 20 Side or by visiting talesfromthe20side.com.
Like we've got a plan. We just need to deal with this new threat.
A brilliant plan that cannot possibly fail.
We should have just gone to the surface when we had the opportunity to.
You could have.
I could have. I felt obligated to stay.
You weren't.
I mean,
I know, but I felt obligated.
Nobody was obligating you.
No.
I mean, none of you are obligated. You've been told you can just walk away if you wish.
Yeah.
You don't have. You don't. You know, as you said, this is not your fight. You don't have to. You don't have to help these things that you've only just met.
No.
And
it's still an option.
They did help us, though. And it's always nice to make new friends.
There's that. And it's the right thing to do. Morals.
That old argument. That old.
And that's why Alwyn's doing it. Because of the morality.
And so is Otto, because he's at heart a deeply moral person.
I'm sure.
He has his own unique set of morals, perhaps.
Yes. He has his own code.
Yeah.